What's up, everybody? Today, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to try to do kind of a somewhat serious commentary and cover a topic that I don't really talk about all that much, and really, I don't ever talk about it at all. And basically, I'm going to just come clean and admit some things that I really don't even tell anyone close to me, or even really my family. I was in a live stream the other day and kind of having a conversation, and sometimes topics in there turn a little bit intellectual, and topic turned toward depression and things like substance abuse, depression, and just all the things that come along with it. And I finally just kind of opened up and started talking about my life a little bit, which I never really do a whole lot, and I thought maybe it was time to just bring that all out in the open. And what better place to do it than here? I've always found it's easier to talk about things like that to strangers on the internet than it is to talk about it with people that you know, and I guess it's time that I've told my story. You might notice that it's been quite a while since I've done a commentary, and I haven't been around a whole lot here lately, and I guess that's probably one of the reasons why. I've just been kind of in a down mood and really just been having trouble getting any motivation to do anything, and even getting out of bed has just been a complete pain in the ass. Hasn't been all bad though. I've had family in town visiting and did a whole lot of fun things, went out shooting, put videos of that on the internet, and had a lot of fun doing that, but overall I've just kind of not been feeling all that great lately. And I do have a doctor's appointment scheduled for a couple days, and I think I'm finally gonna come clean and talk about it and maybe try to get some help with the problem. I've tried going to a counselor once, and that really didn't do anything. And that was during a time in my life that stress was just so bad there was nothing that could be done until I got out of just the extremely stressful situation that I was in, which I finally ended up doing, and it has changed a lot of things for the better ever since then, so maybe it'll do some good, and hopefully by doing this commentary, maybe it'll help someone else out who's maybe going through the same things that I've been going through, and maybe inspire someone else to make some positive changes in their life. Because I went for years and years, I mean, as long as I can remember, I've always had problems with depression. I've just never even really admitted it to myself, and I've basically just always tried to cope and tried to hide it and tried to pretend that it wasn't there, and that's led to a lot of stress and a lot of substance abuse, which I'm not even really going to touch on that all that much, but I'm just kind of tired of it. I'm tired of going through the same things over and over again, and it's time to make some positive changes and get things fixed. And for the longest time, I never even realized that, well, I knew I was depressed, but I was just living in denial, trying not to admit that I was, and I just thought, you know, this is normal, everyone goes through all this stuff, there's nothing that out of the ordinary. You know, I'd party really hard and do a whole shit ton of drugs and basically just try to go out partying and try to overdose and take it to the absolute limit and hope that I wouldn't wake up the next day. And after quite a few times of doing that, I finally came to realize that, you know, this isn't normal. Not everybody does this, and I should probably try to change my ways, at least a little bit. I mean, alcohol poisoning is really painful, and I guess, looking back on it at this point, I was lucky to even live through that pain and not die. And I mean, there's a lot of worse things that could happen with some of those things that I was doing other than dying. I could have ended up with severe organ damage. I could have ended up just having all sorts of really horrible problems for the rest of my life, and been really wishing that I was dead every day of my life from then on. And I'm really lucky that none of those things have happened to me. And beyond that, I've taken a whole lot of just unnecessary risks in other areas of life, just trying to get a rush and trying to get the endorphin rush and something to kill the pain. I was kind of an adrenaline junkie for a long time, and that really seemed to work, but in doing that I found out that injuries and extreme discomfort and a lot of pain also kind of produce a natural high that somewhat kills the emotional pain inside too. So I've done a lot of damage to my body over the years, and most of it accidental, but some of it even intentional, just trying to... I never was a cutter. I was one of those kids that cut myself. I actually found that scarification through burning actually produced a lot more pain, and it lasted a lot longer, and it did the job way more effectively. So I have some pretty... well, at least I made a design out of it, so I have some pretty interesting burn scars on different parts of my body and things. And those are just a few of the things that I've done to cope with this through the years, and I've just kind of been reflecting on it a lot lately because, once again, I'm finding myself in one of the really dark periods in life, and I've been just thinking about all these things that I've done to deal with it before, and none of them are appealing because I don't want to do any of that self-destructive stuff that I've always been known to do. I've always had like a really strong self-destructive drive in me, and I don't know where it comes from, but that's one of the things that I'm hoping to find out and hoping to kind of get fixed by going to the doctor and seeking help for this. Because also, one of the things that I've stumbled upon as I was reflecting all this is usually that right after these horribly dark times, usually when I make some changes and things turn around, usually it's some of the absolute best times in my life. And looking back on all those times, I'm glad that I never did end up dead, because then I never would have lived to experience some of the really cool things that I've experienced. And I'm grateful for a lot of those experiences, and hopefully I'll have a lot more experiences like those in life. But if something were to happen and, you know, I was to overdose, or I was to take some really extreme risk and not live through it, then I'd never get to experience any of that again. And sometimes, even though it seems like things are never going to turn around, you never know, because things seem like they were never going to turn around before, and they did, and led to really awesome stuff. And that potential's always there, so you can't ever lose hope, no matter how bad things get. And, you know, a lot of bad things happen in life. A girlfriend that you really love might dump you, might accidentally blow some really great college scholarship and end up having to completely change your plans in life. All sorts of horrible things can happen, but they all pass, and for the most part, those are temporary. And I think most people come through those okay and don't really have too much of a problem. I mean, sometimes people do drastic things and end up making big mistakes, but for the most part, those pass. But if you're having problems that last for years and years, and just things that you can't kick, and they seem to be an internal part of you, and you find yourself coping with it every day by things like substance abuse, or by hurting yourself, or just a variety of other methods that I probably don't even know of, then you should probably go seek help, because it's not normal. Not everybody lives every day like that. And I think that was one of my big mistakes in life, was just thinking, no, this is normal, everybody lives like this, stop being a pussy and just get on with it. Because, no, not everybody does live like that. And it's not fair going through life thinking that, you know, this is what I have to live with, this is what everybody deals with, and everyone else is just better at handling it than me, because it's just not the way it is. You can go get help, and you can talk to someone about it, and you don't have to be ashamed to admit it, because there's a lot of other people with that same problem, and there's a lot of solutions out there for it. Probably a different solution for every person that there is, and who knows what the correct solution is. I'm sure some professional would probably know. That probably varies from case to case. But don't be afraid to face it and just admit it and try to fix it. But anyway, I hope my rambling about this topic maybe inspires someone out there to make a healthy change, and hopefully whatever I end up doing ends up working for me. I have probably won't talk about it too much, but every once in a while I might check back in and give an update or two on how things are going. Actually, you'll probably be able to tell from my commentaries if it goes really well, because I'll probably sound really happy and be energetic. But anyway, thanks for listening. As always, every interaction with the video helps, and feel free to leave a comment, talk about anything you want, and I will see you around. Later.